Morning students, welcome to the online biology classes. Yesterday we were discussing about the phylum Protochordata, and the most remarkable characteristics of the phylum Protochordata we have studied was the presence of notochord in any of the embryonic stage. Mm, uh, it is not like this, it should be having this notochord in all the developmental stages, but it is for sure that in any of the embryonic developmental stages these organisms are having the notochord. And what is notochord? Notochord is a rod like structure which separates the gut from the nervous tissue. Okay students, so where is the and that is only the place from where the muscle attachment takes place for the movement of such type of organisms. Protochordates, as it is written here also in your NCERT book, may not have proper notochord present in all stages in their lives or for the entire length of the animal. Protochordates are marine animals, example Balanoglossus, Herdmania and Amphioxus. Okay, let us see the diagram of Balanoglossus. Here you can see that the animal is having the notochord is a very important structure, student. Remember this. In the examination generally the questions are being made from this part only, from where a remarkable characteristic of an organism is coming out. So in Protochordata only we have just seen that the most remarkable character is the presence of notochord, and that is a cord like structure or a rod like structure which separates the gut, that is the stomach region of an organism, from its nervous system. Okay, so gut from the nervous system, say a particular rod like structure which is separating that nervous tissue and gut, and from there only the attachment of the muscles will take place for the movement of that organism. So let us move to the next phylum, that is phylum Vertebrata. Now vertebrates are those organisms which is having the vertebral column. What is vertebral column? Vertebral column means backbone. Okay, the organisms which are having the backbone in their body are called as vertebrates. Okay, and that helps in the body design, that helps in the movement of that organism, and the muscle attachment is also taking place from there only. Okay students, so to allow a completely different distribution of muscle attachment points to be used for movement. So these are the organisms which are having a very well developed and well designed vertebral column, or we can say that they are having the backbone. Vertebrates are bilaterally symmetrical. I am again explaining what is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means if you are cutting the organism only in one plane, that means in one plane only that organism can be divided into two equal halves, not in any plane. Okay, you have to cut in a particular plane only, then only the organism can be divided into two equal halves. In any plane it cannot be. So if the organisms can be divided into two equal halves, after cutting it only in one plane, that is bilateral symmetry. And if the organism divides into two equal halves in cutting, after cutting it in any plane, कैसे भी cut कर दे, you are cutting it in any plane, that organism can be divided into two equal halves. Okay, so that is radial symmetry. And radial symmetry we have just seen. Let me see that from where. So here you can see in Coelenterata, if you cut an organism in any plane, that organism can be divided into two equal halves. In this sea anemone also you can see that आप उसको any plane में if you will be cutting, it can be divided into two equal halves. Okay, so there are certain organism, if you cut those organism in any plane, that can be divided into two equal halves. Like starfish is also there, it is showing radial symmetry. If you cut that organism in any plane, that can be divided into two equal halves. Okay students, like here urchins are also given over there. If you divide those organism into or cut that organism in any plane, you will be finding that they superimpose over each other. The cut portions will superimpose over each other. But now here in vertebrata we are also Coming under this category of vertebrata, we are having vertebral column in our body, that is backbone. If we are cutting this organism, suppose that if a human body is there and you are cutting that organism, so how you will be cutting that organism into two equal halves so that both the halves superimpose over each other. You can cut it from head to toe, okay, in which the organism can be divided into two equal halves, and that only will superimpose. Otherwise, if you will be cut that organism from the belly portion, so that organism, that head will not overlap on legs. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to cut from between, means starting from your head, then come to nose, then lips, and then chin. Then you will be separating the rib cage into two equal halves. Then you will be coming down both the hands with both the parts, means one hand with one of the part of the body, another hand with another part. So that is bilateral symmetry. And if you will superimpose, that will be superimposed over each other. So that is bilateral symmetry. Vertebrates are bilateral symmetry. Triploblastic, that means three layers in their body. Coelomic means their body is having a hole inside. And segmented means their body is having different regions and segments. With complex differentiation of body tissue means body tissues are complex and they get grouped together to form organs. You already know that cells group together to form tissues means the level of organization is increasing. That means cellular level is in sponges. Then we have seen in Coelenterata tissue level of organization is there. Then we have came to Annelida where we have seen the organ level of organization. Now we have came to such a phylum, that is vertebrata, in which we will be seeing organ system level of organization. Means those organisms are highly complex and highly differentiated body tissues and organs are present in phylum vertebrata. We all also belong to phylum vertebrata. Let us see, under phylum vertebrata there are many classes. We'll be talking about these classes, means there are mainly 6 classes which are coming under this phylum vertebrata. We'll be studying in detail about these 6 classes in today's video. All chordates possess the following features, means these are also vertebrates are bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, coelomic and segmented with complex differentiation of body tissues and organs. All chordates. So these vertebrata are also called as chordates because they are having what they are having? Cord like structure, which is called as the spinal cord. Okay, so the vertebrates are having vertebral column, which is also called as spinal cord. That's why these organisms are also given the name as chordates. So all chordates possess the following features. They have notochord, but for obvious they will be having a notochord. That structure is a rod like structure. Have a dorsal nerve cord, means they will be having a nerve cord from where the nervous tissues arise. Are triploblastic, that means they are having 3 layers in their body. Have paired gill pouches, means they will be having the gill pouches, the organ which are meant for respiration. Are coelomate means they are having cavity inside their body. What is cavity? A hole is present inside their body. In that hole only all the organs, internal organs are being fitted. Vertebrates are grouped into 6 classes. So there are 6 classes for the vertebrates. The first class is cyclostomata. Cyclostomatas are jawless vertebrates. Means these are the organisms which are jawless. They are not having jaws in their mouth. They are characterized by having an elongated eel-like body. So let us see, this is the diagram. Very nice diagram is given over there. That is petromyzon, a fish. You can see that comes under class cyclostomata. Fish like organism you will be seeing. The name is petromyzon, and a very remarkable characteristic of this organisms are they are jawless. Okay, they characterized by having an elongated eel-like body, circular mouth, slimy skin, and are scaleless. Means that is not having scales on the body. Their skin is very slimy and slippery. It is having circular mouth. That means the mouth is not meant for cutting. The mouth is circular. That means that organism, if it is not having the jaws, so probably it will not be biting or cutting. So that organism will be obtaining the nutrition, or it takes its food probably by sucking. So they are ectoparasites or borers of the vertebrates. Okay, so they are ectoparasites. Ectoparasites means they live on the body of an organism. or other vertebrates. Petromyzon, which is commonly called as lamprey, and myxine, that is also called as hagfish, are the example. So students, very interesting thing I'm telling you about this particular class of organism, that is Cyclostomata, that is Petromyzon and myxine. These are some of the ectoparasites which live on the body of the other vertebrates. For example, this Petromyzon and myxine, they are found sticking to the body, the underbody of the bigger animals, bigger sea animals like sharks and whales. Okay, so the sharks and whales, they are very bigger organisms, which animals of the seas and oceans. So these ectoparasite, this class Cyclostomata, they are always found stuck under the body of these bigger organisms like whales and sharks, and they stick they over there, and they slowly they suck the blood of those organisms, those bigger organisms like whale and sharks. They suck their blood because their mouth parts are not biting and cutting type. Their mouth parts are circular and they are sucking type. So they suck the blood of those organisms and they remain stuck to their body through the entire life. And sometimes it has been observed that these organisms, these Cyclostomata, that is Petromyzon and myxine, they bore inside it. As it is written over there, they are the ectoparasites or borers. Borers means they do borings. Boring matlab they make a hole inside the body. They make a hole inside the body of the bigger vertebrates, and they sometimes go inside the body of the whales and the shark by digging a hole inside their body, and they can even go inside the body and they have the nourishment, have the nutrition. Okay, so I hope student you find it very interesting. So this is the most remarkable characteristic, that they are not having jaws, they are having circular mouth parts, sucking type, they are boring, they are making holes inside the body of vertebrates, and they are going inside also their body, and it can lead to the death of that particular vertebrate also. Species. Now that is the second class. Species means fish. These are fish. They are exclusively aquatic animal. Their skin is covered with scales, plates. They obtain oxygen dissolved in water by using gills. The body is streamlined and muscular tail is used for movement. They are cold-blooded and their heart have two chambered. So students, many a times it has been asked in the examination, these classes are for sure, for definitely they will be asked to write about the characteristics of class species, amphibia, reptilia, Cyclostomata. So remember that you have to learn these remarkable characteristics of all these classes. What we have just seen for fishes, they are exclusively aquatic. They obtain dissolved oxygen using their gills from the water. The body is streamlined, they are cold-blooded, they are having two-chambered heart, they lay eggs. We can think of many kinds of fish, some with skeletons made entirely of cartilage, such as sharks, and some with skeleton made up of both bone and cartilage, such as tuna or rohu. Okay, so fishes are having two types of skeleton. There are certain types of fish like shark, in which whole skeleton, they are having endoskeleton and exoskeleton. There are two types of skeletal systems, endoskeleton and exoskeleton. Endoskeleton means if the skeleton is present inside the body and outside there are muscles. Like us, we are also having endoskeleton, means skeleton is inside and it has been covered by skin and muscles. Exoskeleton, as we see in the case of crabs, that is having exoskeleton, and starfish also, it is having exoskeleton, means the toughness and the hardness is the skeleton is outside, and inside that skeleton the tissues and muscles remain protected. So fishes are having endoskeleton, and endoskeleton is also made up of cartilage if it is shark. So complete endoskeleton is of cartilage if it is shark, and it can be mixed, that is bone and cartilage. For example, tuna and rohu fish, their skeletons are made up of both bones and cartilage. Okay, I hope students you are able to understand this. Now we'll be coming to the another class, that is class amphibia. So what are amphibians? We have studied in this chapter only bryophytes, about bryophytes, that is plant kingdom. So bryophytes are also called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Why? Because they are found growing both in water and in land, and that is the most remarkable characteristics of amphibians. That's why they are also called as amphibians, because the amphibians are the organisms which can live both on land and water. So So these animals differ from the fish in the lack of scales. They are not having scales on the body, in having muscles, mucus glands in the skin. So their skin is very slimy and it is having mucus. That means it is having a sticky substance over it, and that is the most remarkable characteristics of amphibia. They are having three chambered. Okay, they are having three chambered. Fishes are having two chambered heart, and these amphibians are having three chambered heart. So that is the difference between the class, species, and amphibia. Amphibians are having three chambered heart. Respiration is through either gills or lungs. So let us recall the example of a frog. So when the frog is in the tadpole stage, it can breathe, it always spend its life inside water. Tadpole never comes out of water. It swims like fish inside water. So when the frog is in tadpole stage, at that time it is not having lungs. It is having gills. So respiration happens through gills in that stage, that is in the tadpole stage. And when the other stage comes of that frog, that means when the frog jumps out of water and becomes a tiny frog, and when it first time it comes out of water and on land, at that time the gills are being replaced by lungs. And whenever that frog again goes inside water, so now instead of gills, the frog will breathe through moist skin. Okay, so the purpose of the gills are being done by the moist skin, and when it comes on land, it can breathe with the help of lungs. Okay, they lay eggs, means they will be laying eggs. You well better know this. These animals are found both in water and on land. Frogs, toads, and salamanders are some examples. Okay, students, so let us move to the next class, that is class Reptilia. These animals are cold blooded. Okay, they are cold blooded. You might have seen in Discovery channels where they always show and they present like this. They are the cold blooded murderers. Okay, so that is the thing. They are very furious animals, sometimes the cold blooded. And always you might have seen that has been a taboo. The king, the snakes and salamanders and all the reptiles have been a taboo for all of us. Have scales and breathe through lungs. While most of them have three chambered heart, means they are having the similarity with amphibia, they are also having three chambered heart, but crocodiles are having four chambered heart. So here the questions will be formed. Okay, so that crocodile also comes under class Reptilia, but it is having four chambered heart, and others reptilias are having three chambered heart. So question will be formed here only. Okay, name that particular organism in class Reptilia which is having four chambered heart, like this, or which member of the class Reptilia is having four chambered heart, and options will be given to you, and you have to give the answer for that. So for the answer for that is is crocodiles. They lay egg with tough coverings and do not need to lay their eggs in water. Okay, like amphibia, they lay the eggs on water, but they never lay eggs on water. Means who? Reptilia never lay eggs on water, unlike amphibians. Snake, turtles, lizard, and crocodiles fall in this category. Okay, snake, lizard, crocodiles fall in this category. Now we'll be coming to the next class, that is class aves. Aves. Sometimes it is also called as aves, but it is aves. These are warm blooded. Now we have seen reptilia are cold blooded, fishes are cold blooded, amphibians are also cold blooded, but now here we will be coming to aves. What is the difference? That is warm blooded and have four chambered heart. So what is the difference? It is having four chambered heart. Amphibian reptilia having three chambered heart, and species is having two chambered heart. Okay, so now aves, they are warm blooded, they are having four chambered heart, they lay eggs. There is an outside covering of feathers, means they are having feathers on the body, and two forelimbs and modified to flight, means bones are hollow, air is filled inside that hollow bones to make them light, to give the particular organism the buoyancy so that it can fly. They breathe through lungs. They are having lungs for breathing. All birds fall in this category. So all the birds will be coming under this category. Let us come to the next class. That is the last class to which we also belong. That is Mammalia. So mammals are warm-blooded animals with four chambered heart. They have mammary glands for the production of milk to nourish their young ones. So that is the most remarkable characteristic. That is, they are having the mammary glands for nourishing their or production of milk to nourish their young ones. Their skin is hairs as well as sweat and oil glands. Their skin is having hairs, and they are having sweat glands to produce the sweat. They are having oil glands also to produce the oil, and to protect their bodies and make it shiny. Most animals, most mammals familiar to us produce live young ones. Okay, so we all produce live young ones. However, few of them like the platypus and the echidna. Okay, so there are two organisms which are coming under class Mammalia. Examples are platypus and echidna. They lay eggs. Rest of the mammals, they give birth to young ones. Okay, only platypus and echidna, they lay eggs. So question will again be formed over here. Name the mammals which can lay eggs, which does not give birth to young ones, or it can be asked that name two mammals which lay eggs. And some like kangaroo give birth to poorly developed young ones. So here also the question will be formed, name that particular organism which give birth to a poorly developed organism. All the other mammals give birth to fully developed young ones. Okay, some examples are shown in the scheme of classification of animals is shown. Now we'll be seeing the ray diagram or the scheme of complete classification of kingdom Animalia. Let us see that, students. Let us see. Here comes to an end of our chapter. Let us see this through this ray diagram, the entire kingdom Animalia. Now see, animals, cellular level of organization. If under the animals, if the organism is having cellular level of organization, that is porifera, means their body is having only cells. Cells are not grouped together to form tissues. Matlab they are having the simplest level of organization, body organization. Animal, then tissue level of organization. So if the organism is having tissue level of organization, under this category what will come? Just see here, no body cavity. If they are having tissue level of organization and body is having no cavity. Okay, and pseudocoelom means cavity is there but it is false cavity. Cavity is true cavity only when the organs are there inside that cavity. Okay, student, that is very very important to note down. That any cavity becomes the true cavity only when the organs are there inside the cavity. And if the cavity is there and no organs are there, that is called as pseudocoelom. That organism is called as pseudocoelomate. So either the organism is having cavity, it is having true body cavity, it is having false body cavity, or no cavity is present. So here it is written no body cavity, pseudocoelom and coelom. If it is having no body cavity, so two phylums are coming under this, that is Coelenterata and Platyhelminthes. They are having no body cavity. Who? Coelenterata and Platyhelminthes. If it is having pseudocoelom, it means cavity is there but organs are not inside that cavity. So that cavity will become false body cavity, or we call it as pseudocoelom also. So that is nematoda. Now coelomate means those organisms which are having the true body cavity. So true body cavity of the organism, that is also divided into two parts. Mesodermal cell forms a single cell during growth of the embryo, that is Annelida, Mollusca and Arthropoda. Means mesodermal cell, middle layer of the cell, middle layer of the body cells forms a single cell during growth of the embryo. Okay, so during growth of the embryo, if the mesodermal cell forms a single cell, that under this category Annelida, Mollusca and Arthropoda are coming. If the coelom formed from pouches pinched off from the endoderm, if the coelom is in the form of pouches, मीन्स छोटे 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 छेद होते हैं और छोटी छोटी पॉकेट्स बनी रहती हैं उस बॉडी के कैविटी के अंदर, तो दैट इज अनदर डिवीजन. ओके, तो अंडर दिस अगर वो ऑर्गेनिज्म, इफ द ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर हैविंग इन विद द सीलोम इज इन पाउचेस जो स्कैटर्ड होते हैं यहाँ वहाँ, तो उस कंडीशन में इट इज अगेन डिवाइडेड इनटू टू. Okay, so that is no notochord and notochord is present. If no notochord is present, that is echinodermata. If notochord is present, that is chordata. Again, the chordates are also divided into notochord present in the, at least in the larval forms, but very rudimentary. Matlab it is present in the larval stage, but it is not present in the adult stage. So in under this category, protochordata will come. In chordata, if notochord replaced by vertebral column in adults, that is vertebrata. So that is very important, student. You try to understand if the chordata is there, the chordata is having notochord, but if notochord is only present in the embryonic stage but not in the adult stage, so under that category protochordata will be coming. Blanoglossus example we have seen. And if notochord is replaced by a vertebral column, means that notochord is converting into the vertebral column in the adult stage, so that is vertebrata. We also belong to this category. Now this vertebrata is again divided into 6 classes. Let us see this: Cyclostomata, Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammalia. So all these 6 classes right now we have discussed. So student, here comes to an end of this chapter. If you are not able to understand, you keep on viewing this video and try to understand after making a pause to that wherever you are not able to understand. So in this way, student, you will be able to make the best use of this video. So in the next class, we will be talking about the NCERT exercises in this form only. In the form of a video, we will be discussing all the NCERT exercises. But before going to the exercises, there is a last topic. There is a last topic left, student, of this chapter. I am very sorry. There is a last topic left, and that is nomenclature. That means how you will be naming, the organism. So as of now, for today, we will be just completing it till kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia we have completed. We have seen all the 6 classes. So for as of now, we will be just concluding here only. Tomorrow we'll be talking about nomenclature and we'll be discussing NCERT exercises. Okay students, thank you.